My dear, they finally realized your silence was the loudest goodbye. They let you go. Now they beg the universe for a second chance. They thought you'd wait. Now you're the prayer they whisper in regret. You were their peace. They chose noise. They're haunted by the version of you that loved them anyway. Their ego spoke louder than your love, and now it's silent. They touched your soul, then vanished. Now they beg to be seen. You healed them. They broke you. Now they call that karma. You're the unfinished sentence in all their quiet moments. They miss the warmth they once swore was too much. Their biggest mistake was thinking you'd always be there. You're not a memory. They relive you nightly. You became everything they search for in someone else. They ache for the voice they told to hush. They mocked your tears. Now they cry into your silence. You were too deep for their shallow love. They ran from the fire only to freeze without you. You left a silence they can't unhear. They faked strength, now beg for your softness. You're the lesson they learned too late. Your absence rewrote their entire definition of love. You became their ghost story. Their "I don't need you" now echoes as a plea. You were love. They wanted power. Now they have none. They regret not protecting what others now crave. They traded rare for routine. They feel your name like a wound. You didn't change. They just woke up home late. They called you intense. Now they crave that fire. You were too light for their darkness. They betrayed your depth. Now drown in shallow apologies. You're the heartbeat they muted. Now it's deafening. They remember the way you stayed, not the way they left. Your goodbye still echoes like a warning. Their pride cost them paradise. You made them feel alive. They made you question your worth. They regret not fighting for the love that fought for them. You're their what if and if only in one. You didn't leave. They pushed you away with silence. They ignored your magic until someone else saw it. You became the silence they fear most. They miss the soul they couldn't match. You're not the same. Their apology is outdated. They called you too much. Now they feel empty. Their hands shook when they reached for someone who wasn't you. They dream of a chance they once wasted. They lost a heart that would have healed them. You're the ache behind their smile. They miss you like lungs miss air. You weren't dramatic. You were dying inside. They now understand the language of your silence. You begged in whispers. They listened to noise. You were their mirror. They smashed it. They now seek in strangers the warmth they burned. You became the poetry they can't write without breaking. You were art. They wanted wallpaper. They regret unloving someone so unforgettable. You became rare the moment they left. They read old messages like prayers. Your ghost kisses them in every dream. They mocked your emotions. Now they drown in their own. You were love. They needed to lose you to know it. They're sorry for everything, too late. They lost a soul worth worshipping. They now miss the chaos that was actually your care. You were the storm and the shelter. Their new love doesn't laugh like you. They remember how you held them when they didn't ask. You became the home they abandoned, now homeless in spirit. You were the truth they couldn't face. They now crave the fire they once feared. Your memory smells like regret to them. They pretend they're fine. Their pillow knows better. You were the answer. They chose the test. They only saw your light after the blackout. You didn't change. They evolved into someone who finally understands. Their new life feels empty where you once stood. You were the moment they'll never recreate. Their soul trembles at the thought of your name. If this touched your soul, don't scroll. Like, comment your favorite quote, and subscribe for more. You love them through fire. They left when it rained. They miss your chaos because it meant passion. You made them feel. They weren't ready. They didn't leave. You outgrew their fear. You cried love. They heard weakness. They broke a vow their soul still honors. You're the one they talk about, but never name. They dream of the voice that once said, stay. They faked goodbye. Now they ache for hello. You became the ache they carry like a shadow. They miss your eyes because they saw them. You were love, unwrapped in a human. Their guilt is loud when the room is quiet. You were the warmth in their cold world. They regret not kneeling before your heart. You became sacred after they desecrated you. You weren't too much. They were too small. They miss your hands because they let go. Your name feels like an apology they can't say. They wish they'd answered when your soul called.